Hey, folks, how you doing? This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce right here for the 14th of November, 2014. You know, so many things are happening. So many things are transpiring throughout the day. So many things how can I put this? So many things literally have transpired over the last few weeks that I think that we have. I mean, there's so much information coming out. There's so many things happening all at once. It's just overwhelming us. And I think we've gotten to the point now where we're like, wait. And we're running away. And that's what they want. And I think from what I've seen, and I could be wrong, but from what I've seen, the powers that be want us to be overwhelmed. And I think that in that, they understand that we're going to, or they would think anyway, that we're going to go and hide. Well, guess what? We're not hiding anymore because we see right through their BS. That's all there is to it. It is interesting. It is very, very interesting that we see what's going on. Myself and many others are very much aware of the things happening around us. And we are... Oh, how can I put this? We are trying to get the word out as best we can. And I'm going to say this. If you're not willing to wake up and see what's happening and understand what's going on, then I don't know what to tell you. And I think what I'll do is not even talk to you guys, not even talk to you people anymore that are not willing to listen, that are not willing to open your eyes and see what's going on. You want to watch your stupid state-run media, your stupid local channels and all that, and you know what? You go ahead and do that. Enjoy. Because I'll talk to the people who are very much aware and awake and know what is going on. And I want to help them prepare for what's coming down the line. And I've tried my best to, enlighten people as to what's happening around them. And some people are looking at it saying, yeah, but, I understand, but, So, and I get a lot of, there's nothing I can do about it type of responses. Well, those people are cowards. That's all they are. Just complete cowards. And I'm not here to support or to do anything other than try to enlighten those people that need, to know what's happening. And if you're willing to know, if you're willing to learn, hey, welcome. If you're not, grab your beer, sit on your couch and watch your stupid ESPN. Because that's all you care about, apparently. Hey, got questions, comments, concerns, or even if you disagree with me, please let me know at freeamericaradio@usa.com, freeamericaradio@usa.com, and go from there. Go to freeamericaradio.weebly.com and get more information there as well. Plus, you can go to the website for this particular show, the Wayne S. Pierce Show.weebly.com, and I shall return in just a few moments. It's New York, February 1964. The Beatles are making their appearance at the Ed Sullivan Show in one more day. The Plaza Hotel is crazy with preparations. Alex Frazier, a desk clerk, has secretly let his brother Freddie use the penthouse suite for the evening so he can wine and dine the girl of his dreams. What Alex and Freddie don't know is the Secret Service is using the same room to hide spy novelist Henry Lade. His most recent novel has attracted the attention of the Soviets and the East Germans. The communist countries believe Lade may have secretly discovered their plot to bomb Fresno. What Agent John Parker and Henry Lade don't know is the Beatles are staying in the same room for their first appearance on American television. Let's Get Laid by Thomas Amo, available on the Kindle at Amazon.com. Hey, welcome back, folks. This is the Wayne S. Pierce Show right here for the 14th of November, 2014. How y'all doing? Hey, it's Friday, TGIF. Hey, lots of things happening, lots of things going on, and I have a question for you, and it's real simple. How do you see the world? I mean, seriously, it's a rhetorical question if you want it to be, or it's a question that you can answer, How do you see the world? You can email me at freeamericaradio@usa.com, freeamericaradio@usa.com. Give me your answer, if you would, please, or, you can pop it right there on the Spreaker site, if you would. Things change every day. Are we adaptable? Have we gotten to the point where we're now comfortable? Or are we willing to defend our very existence? To me, it's incredible that I see a lot of people who fail to understand just how to defend themselves, how to take it seriously that this is not a game, folks. All right? And it is what it is. And it's real life. And there's no reset button on this thing. You know what I'm saying? For all you gamers out there. We're not going to sit here and have our lives disrupted by criminals or by terrorists who are said to be outside of the country, but mostly are inside of the country from our nation's capital. We're not going to put up with it anymore. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But I guess that's me. I guess everybody else is just comfortable and, they don't mind. They don't mind being terrorized. They don't mind being abused. They don't mind being shackled to a job that doesn't give them a living wage. They don't mind at all having to spend hours and days and months fighting for a scrap of bread when their dreams are having a steak dinner. I don't. So when you look at this whole situation and you examine the bottom line of it all, when you examine it, you'll get to the bottom line and you'll see the problem, and hopefully you'll have your intestinal fortitude to keep going, but in the process have the intuitive processes kicking you in the butt, telling you to defend yourself in some way, shape, or form. And it is important for people to understand that there is a delineation between, there is a line of demarcation between absolute terror and that will cause you to go into a dark, dark place and feel hopeless. And on the other side of that, there is a moment of sheer clarity when you realize that the only way that you can change things and change your environment is if you get up, is when you get up, not if, when you get up and start tearing through, whatever is ailing you, whatever is suppressing you, and you begin to defend yourself. Okay? Even people on the dark side have a passion. And that passion is to control. That's the only thing they have in their mind. People on the light side say, no, we don't want people controlling us. We want to be free individuals to be able to do what we need to do to counter the evil in our lives, number one, and to be resourceful and creative and innovative and help others out be better than they were yesterday. I know it's hard to explain. I know you're probably, putting your hand over your head going, phew, that's over my head. It is, but there are people out there that know exactly what I'm talking about. There are people out there that are probably in that situation that say, you know what, I feel hopeless at this point. Well, I can't feel hopeless anymore. When you have a fear that you will lose and you begin to think, wait a minute, I can't stay here, then you have nothing to lose anymore and you are fearless. And you begin to defend yourself. You begin to push back. You begin to push forward. And you begin to build upon those steps. You may have moved an inch today, but in a month you may be moving feet instead of inches. And those out there listening to this know exactly what I'm talking about. So anyway, yes. So I get accused of philosophizing a lot. It's not philosophizing. It's part of real life. It's what it is. It's how you succeed. It's where you put your mind and say, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm done with being terrorized. I'm done with being suppressed. I'm done feeling as if I'm worthless. I'm done. Okay? So we move on. So thank you for hearing me talk about that for the last several minutes. Appreciate that. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, even if you disagree with me, please show me why. Free America Radio at USA.com. Free America Radio at USA.com. Go to the website for this show, thewaynespearshow.weebly.com. Please, if you would. I have an alternative site just in case. Just in case. Please get a pen or a pencil and write this down because it's... Until I can figure something out, this is what you get. Okay. It is AmericanLibertyRadio.wix, that's wix.com/ALR network. Let me say that one more time. I'll say it twice, but let me say it one more time. It is AmericanLibertyRadio.wix, that's wix.com/ALR network. Okay? And then I'm going to say it a little bit faster just to make sure you have it. AmericanLibertyRadio.wix.com/ALR network. Okay? So that's an alternative site. It's a backup site, if you will. And until things change and until I can come up with additional ideas, that's what we have for now. You can go to thewaynespearshow.weebly.com. That's the website for this show. Of course, I gave you the alternative. You can also support Free America Radio Network if you'd like. And you can go to freeamericaradio.weebly.com and donate. You can sponsor the shows. You can get your emergency food supply before the next man-made or natural disaster happens. Get at least 72 hours of emergency supply to help you out. Help out your family. And in the process, you'll be helping out Free America Radio Network. Yes, you will be doing that. So, anyway, I want to go here. I like to go to the go-to site all the time because I believe there's a lot of good stuff over there. DrudgeReport.com. Now, I've talked about this yesterday, but it's very, very important to understand what is happening. Devlin Barrett over at the Wall Street Journal, Americans' cell phones targeted in secret U.S. spy program. Devices on planes that mimic cell phone towers used to target criminals, but also sift through thousands of other phones. I'm going to put this on the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page, and you guys can take a gander at this if you'd like. And you can go to startpage.com, look up cell phone towers in your area. It's incredible what you will find. It is. I can only say that yes, it's scary as hell when you find that there's a whole bunch of them in your area, but maybe 60 to 70% of them are not even registered to any cell phone company. Huh? Yeah, kind of spooky, isn't it? Washington, the Justice Department is scooping up data from thousands of mobile phones through devices deployed on airplanes that mimic cell phone towers, a high-tech hunt for criminal suspects that is snagging a large number of innocent Americans, according to people familiar with the operations. The U.S. Marshals Service program, which became fully functional around 2007, operates Cessna aircraft from at least 5 metropolitan area airports with a flying range covering most of the U.S. population, according to people familiar with the program. The planes are equipped with devices, some known as dirt boxes to law enforcement officials because of the initials of the Boeing company unit that produces them, which mimic cell towers of large telecommunications firms and trick cell phones into reporting their unique registration information. It's a pretty lengthy article, folks. You may want to go to the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page and check that out. And I want to say this because it is important that we understand what is going on. Okay? I find it... I can't type. Anyway. The information that is out there about this spy network that we have is essentially been blown apart by insiders coming out and telling you exactly what's going on. It's been, sifted through no pun intended, by the independent alternative media because, of whistleblowers from inside companies or people familiar with the programs, as that article says. So we have this and we understand this is going on. But as I said before, people feel comfortable. Stockholm Syndrome. Look that one up. Go to startpage.com. Stockholm Syndrome. Okay? We love the government, yeah. But they're spying on you and they're trying to control everything that you do. But we love them. But they're wanting to get rid of your constitutional amendments. But we love them. Yeah, and you're an idiot. I don't know, folks. Sorry, I had to take some coffee there. I got coffee, all right? All right, Dave, I got some coffee there, all right? But anyway, it's important that we understand that, hey, we're being spied on. And, yeah, they'll say, no, we're not taking any of your information, yada, yada. Okay. Yeah, I laugh because I don't believe one word of it. So, anyway. Now, here's something else. Now, we understand that we have a dictator-in-chief. Go to Amazon.com and I believe it's at Amazon.com or CreateSpace.com. Go look for Brian Keller's book, Dictator-in-Chief. Yes. I got a book, too. I don't promote it much, but I got a book, too. Hey, over at the New York Times, NYTimes.com, Obama down but not out, presses ahead. Peter Baker with Julie Hirschfeld Davis. Posted yesterday at the New York Times. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that very much. President Obama emerged from last week's midterm election rejected by voters, hobbled politically, and doomed to a final 2 years in office suffering from early lame duck syndrome. That, at least, was the consensus in both parties. No one seems to have told Mr. Obama. In the 10 days since, we got beat, as he put it, by Republicans who captured the Senate and bolstered control over the House. Mr. Obama has flexed his muscles on immigration, climate change, and the internet, demonstrating that he still aspires to enact sweeping policies that could help define his legacy. Yeah, as a dictator. The timing of the three different decisions was to some extent a function of separate policy clocks, not simply a White House policy strategy. Mr. Obama, for example, had been scheduled to travel to China for a summit meeting in mid-November, and American officials have been trying for the most of the year to negotiate a climate agreement for him to announce while in Beijing. Still, even if by happenstance the back-to-back moves have reinforced Mr. Obama's desire to assert himself in a period when his poll numbers and political capital are at the lowest ebbs. While losing Congress was a grievous blow that will further challenge his capacity to govern, advisors say that he feels liberated. He can now pursue his long-term agenda, they said, without being tethered to the short-term electoral concerns of his party's leadership in Congress. Did he not just throw the Democratic Party under the bus? I'm just wondering. That just sounded like he threw his whole freaking party right under the bus. In the process, though, Mr. Obama has angered Republicans who accuse him of essentially defying the message sent by the electorate. That would mean you and I. All of the talk by the White House in recent days, working together with a new Congress, seems belied, I should say. Belied. Yeah, he does worship Belial. All of the talk by the White House in recent days of working together with new Congress seems belied by a president who has wasted little time advancing some of the same policies that were renounced just a week ago, Republicans said. Quote, The president is completely ignoring the will of the American voters who turned out on election day and overwhelmingly elected people who wanted to change the direction of this country, unquote. Senator John Barrasso of Wyoming, chairman of the Senate Republican Policy Committee, said in an interview, quote, even today the new polls show Americans would rather have Republicans make the agenda changes than the president, unquote. It's the same freaking party. Go look at the people funding each party. Guess what? It's all the same, folks. It's all the same dirty money that's pumped into Washington, D.C. and into both parties. Okay. Continuing. But aides said Mr. Obama has concluded that he cannot let opposition from the other party stop him from advancing his priorities. And in his post-election comments, Mr. Obama predicted he would take action that Republicans would not like. In other words, he's going to do whatever he wants to do. To hell with Congress. While White House advisors interpreted the election results as a mandate to work across the aisle, they said that cannot simply be a prescription for more gridlock where the president does nothing without Republican approval. Quote, our bottom line is we think people want results, unquote, said Jennifer Palmieri, the White House communications director. Quote, they want things to improve. They want you to take action. They're more focused on outcomes and process, unquote. Although they do not present it this way, in some ways Mr. Obama and his aides are taking a page from President George W. Bush's playbook after his thumping in his final midterm elections. Instead of pulling out of the deteriorating war in Iraq, as Democrats interpreted Mr. Bush's election mandate, he sent more troops. Democrats like Mr. Obama, then a senator, accused the president of defying the voters. In the end, the reinforcements and the strategy change helped turn around the war. No, it didn't. It just made the Bush family more profitable. Continuing, like Mr. Bush, Mr. Obama will continue to have a relatively free hand on foreign policy, although he has asked Congress to fashion a new authorization for his own air war in Iraq and next door Syria against the Islamic State militant group, who we're funding, folks. Go look it up. But it remains less clear how far he can go toward other goals without Congress. His agreement with China to reduce carbon emissions over the next decade is not binding and ultimately will depend on his successor enacting policies to achieve these goals. Let me say something right here. I'm going to interject here. Climate change, global warming, all that's a hoax. All that's bullcrap. Do you know what climate change truly is? It's weather. We cannot stop inclement weather. We cannot stop any of it. But they're trying through DARPA and chemtrails and geoengineering and all of this. Go look it up. Startpage.com. Geoengineering. Go look it up. We've been doing it for years. They're trying. Okay? But, So go check it out. Continuing, likewise, his planned immigration executive order providing work permits to millions of people in the country illegally will remain in force only as long as he is in office. Still, aides said Mr. Obama seems energized by the post-election actions. As early as the day after the voting, senior officials described him as impatient to reclaim the presidential megaphone and argue for policy initiatives after a year of hanging back in deference to Democratic operatives worried about the backlash for vulnerable candidates. It is a change in tone that has been apparent to liberal activists who have often criticized Mr. Obama for being too timid and willing to compromise. Public interest groups and technology startup executives said they saw the new dynamic at work on Monday when they got a heads up to watch the White House website for an announcement that would please them. Mr. Obama's videotaped call for a free and open internet, quote, completely upended the debate. And it was the kind of clear, bold statement we had been waiting for, reconnecting to the language you heard in 2008, where he came out in a very stark terms in a pro-public interest way, unquote. Greg Aaron, the president of Free Press, an advocacy group. While there is still considerable concern among some White House allies that Mr. Obama will allow Republicans to set the terms of debate over trade, taxes, and infrastructure spending, many argue that the devastating scale of the election losses may have raised pressure on the president to go big in other areas, if only to improve his relevance and agenda-setting authority. Quote, the president has seen what happens when he doesn't step forward and Democrats don't inspire the public or their base. We win on issues but lose on the polls, so we can't do worse, unquote, said Anna Gayland, the executive director of MoveOn.org, the progressive advocacy group. Quote, let's try being bold, unquote. In other words, let's implement communism in the United States. Republicans did not see it as bold so much as defiant and said it may cost Mr. Obama the opportunity to make more progress collaboratively. Quote, I've been very disturbed about the way the president has proceeded in the wake of the election, unquote, said Senator Mitch McConnell of Kentucky, the incoming Republican majority leader. Bye-bye, Harry Reid. Thank goodness for small favors. Quote, I had maybe naively hoped the president would look at the results of the election and decide to come to the political center and do business with us, unquote. He added, quote, I still hope he does at some point, but the early signs are not good, unquote. In other words, the president's going to do whatever the president's going to do. Whoops. I was going to put that up on the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page. Let's go grab that, shall we? The president's going to do whatever the president's going to do. That's just the way it is. Okay? That's just the way it is. I mean, I don't give a crap what side of the aisle you're on, what political affiliation you have. That's the way it's going to be. Period. End of sentence. I'm going to go to break, folks. Almost missed it, so I'm going to go to break. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, even if you disagree with me, please show me why. Free America Radio at USA.com. Free America Radio at USA.com. I shall return after this.
Sarasota's home for R&B and soul. The Razor Blade Express with Dave the Rave.
And will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
The Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
So help you God.
So help me God.
Ah, damn politicians. My mother always told me this country would be screwed if the liberals had their way. The only sanity I get is when I listen to Jeff Wagner on the Conservative Voice, only on the Conservative Radio Network.
Eastland Radio Repertory Theater is looking for you. Are you a voice actor? Do you want to hone your abilities? Please send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Theater at USA.com. We are currently looking for voice actors to fill certain character roles in an ongoing radio play in development. Please send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Theater at USA.com. Hey, folks, welcome back. How you doing? This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce for the 14th of November, 2014. This is the Wayne S. Pierce Show. Go to thewaynespearceshow.weebly.com. Check it out. If you want to sponsor the show, you can. I'm not out to break your advertising budget. That's the way I like it. Anyway, you can also go to an alternative site that I have, a backup site, if you will, and it is AmericanLibertyRadio.wix, that's WIX.com/ALR network. That's AmericanLibertyRadio.wix. www.wix.com/ALR network. So that's the backup site. You can go there, check that out. Still building it, by the way. So, anyway, so pardon the dust. Anyway, hey, a few other things that I want to mention here and get into, if I can. And I'm still at thedrudgereport.com. The whole thing about the rich, poor, the differences that we have. The rich are getting richer, we know this, and the poor are becoming non-existent. We definitely see that one. But did you know, and here it is on the Drudge Report, and I'll put this up on the Wayne Has Beer Show Facebook page, the DailySignal.com has this story. The richest 1% of Americans pay 24% of federal taxes. Did you know that? Curtis Dubé, leading expert on tax reform, income tax, and corporate tax, international taxes, and the estate tax, is a research fellow in tax and economic policies at the Heritage Foundation. The Heritage Foundation. And there's a link there that you'll see under his name that says read his research. So you might want to check that out as well. The question, though, is, and I want to pose this question to all of you, all right? I want to pose this question to you all right? Let's put you in a scenario, shall I? I'm going to do this anyway. So, as an example, you make $100,000. You just, okay, let's go a couple of numbers up from that. Let's say you make $1 million. $1 million ain't going to buy you anything anymore, right? You could probably buy a decent 4-bedroom home for at least $200,000 or maybe $300,000 and still have a few bucks left over to go on a vacation. But let's say you made $1 million. What's 25% of that? 24% of that is $240,000, isn't it? Is that right? Because 10% is $100,000. 20% is $200,000. Is my math correct? So you're left with about $700,000. And the rich are complaining? We gotta pay more taxes, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's common knowledge that you cannot prosper through taxing the rich. You can't. There's no way. The numbers, it's a numbers game. You can't. Okay? The article here by Curtis Dubé, you can go to Twitter at Curtis Dubé, D-U-B-A-Y. The Congressional Budget Office released its annual study, and this article, by the way, was put up yesterday. The Congressional Budget Office released its annual study of the distribution of income and federal taxes. It tells us what we've long known. The rich pay a lot of federal taxes, much more than the middle class and poor. President Obama for many years pushed his infamous Buffett rule, which said that the highest earning Americans should pay at least 30% of their income tax in federal taxes. According to the CBO, the average rate of the top 1% was 29% in 2011, the last year of data in the report. The Buffett rule, therefore, was largely in effect. However, CBO, Congressional Budget Office, also projected forward to 2013 based on tax increases that began in 2013. CBO predicts the top 1% paid a 33% effective rate in federal taxes last year. Obama's policies have more than established the Buffett rule. Part of that rule, according to the president, was to make sure that the rich pay a higher effective rate than the middle class. The CBO reports the middle class paid an effective rate of 11.2% in 2011. The rich paid almost 3 times the effective rate comparatively. Warren Buffett never paid even close to the lower rate than his secretary. CBO also shows that higher income earners paid larger shares of tax. The top 1%, for instance, earned almost 15% of income and paid 24% of federal taxes. The top 20 earned 51.9% of income and paid 69% of taxes. That number sounds a little unbelievable, doesn't it? Continuing, all other income groups paid a smaller share of tax than they earned in income. The middle class earned 14% of income and paid 9% of taxes. The bottom 20% earned 5.3% and paid less than 1% of taxes. The share of tax and the average tax rate at the bottom 20% both increased in 2011 compared to 2010. However, their taxes did not rise. Rather, they received less money back through their income taxes because of refundable tax credits, likely because of the economy's improvement. The result of a highly progressive tax structure and income redistribution programs run through the tax code, and outside it means that income inequality fell when looking at before and after tax incomes. The top 20% saw their share of income fall from 52% before tax to 48% after. Every other income group's after-tax share was greater than its before-tax share. One of President Obama's goals was to increase the tax burden on the rich. He succeeded in raising their already substantial burden. Those hikes are one reason the economy continues to stagnate well below its potential, because they have stifled investment by reducing incentives to take risks. In other words, basically, they've taxed the rich to the point where they cannot spend the money on innovation and create new things. Okay? That's basically it. They've raised the taxes on the income to where their profits are so low that they're not able to come up with any money for any type of new idea. And guess who that hurts? You and I. Okay? That hurts you and I because of the fact that we don't get any new stuff. Okay? We don't get any new stuff. We don't get new things. Innovation is pretty much put on hold. So, there you go. Here's the other thing, and I'm going to put this up on the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page as well. I'm going to ask you a question. How many people have gone to college, universities? How many people have done it? How many people have gone? And I really want to know this, so please email me. I don't care where you're at in the world. Please email me. Have you gone to university, gone to college, gone to, whatever, and got an education? In most countries, correct me if I'm wrong, in most countries, the education in community colleges or universities is free to the people. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. But in the United States, we got to pay through the nose. We have to pay through the nose. To the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in some cases. Remember back in 2008, we had the between 2008 and 2012, we had the real estate bubble that just exploded and everybody lost their ass in home loans and crap like that, right? People got sued. The student loan bubble is right at the edge. It is right there. There's a pin sticking into this balloon, and it's about ready to explode. Okay? This is from Red Alert Politics, if I can speak, redalertpolitics.com. Mr. Tongue and Mr. Lips have to work correctly for me to speak clearly. Reports tuition costs and borrowing growth slows, but total student loan debt still on the rise. Ashley Dobson over at redalertpolitics.com writes this article. Thank you, Ashley. A variety of new reports out this week found that the rise of college tuition costs and borrowing rates have slowed, but the nation's collective student loan debt is still on the rise. The College Board released its annual Trends in College Prices and Trends in Student Aid reports and found that college prices are still climbing, but they're doing so at a slower rate. See the word play there, folks? College prices. It didn't say about anything about, anything else other than what does the college cost you? You got the bookstores, you got tuition, you got per class, all that stuff, right? Variety of new reports out this week found that the rise of the college tuition costs and borrowing rates have slowed, but the nation's collective student loan debt is still on the rise. The College Board released its annual Trends in College Prices. And that's a link, you can click on that. And Trends in Student Aid, also a link, reports and found that college prices are still climbing, but they're doing so at a slower rate. Average published tuition and fees for full-time in-state students at public four-year colleges increased 2.9% from 2013-14 to 2014-15. At two-year colleges, it increased 3.3%, and at private nonprofit colleges, it increased by 3.7%. Though the published prices still increased, when adjusted for inflation, the College Board found that the increase in prices was smaller than the overall past decade. Total education borrowing dropped by 8% in the past year, and per-student borrowing fell by 6%. Both reductions are larger than the slight decreases in the previous 2 years. Instead, higher education reported, both reductions are larger than the slight decreases seen in the previous 2 years. Inside Higher Education reported. That's a link too, you might want to check. But this can be explained in part by the overall dip in college enrollment. Yeah, because people cannot afford to go to school. Still, about 60% of the students who earned bachelor's degrees in 2012-2013 from public and private nonprofit colleges graduated with debt, according to the College Board report. The average amount per borrower was, get this folks, $27,300, an increase of 13% over the past 5 years. That's close to the amount discovered by a separate report on the class of 2013 released Wednesday by the Institute of College Access and Success. They found that students in the class of 2013 who took out loans to attend public and private nonprofit colleges graduated with an average debt of $28,400, a 2% increase from the class of 2012. About 70% of graduates had student loans, the report says, but the amount they owed varied widely across different institutions and states. 6 states, New Hampshire, Delaware, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Minnesota, and Connecticut, had graduates with average student loan debt in excess of $30,000. New Mexico and California at $18,656 to $20,340, respectively, were the states with the lowest average student loan debt, according to the report. The report reflects only the money that students graduating in 2013 borrowed and doesn't factor in all of the same components as the College Board, making it not directly comparable. But all reports do show a trend upward, though growth in cost and borrowing seems to be slowing down. The fact that we live in a country that is spending trillions of dollars on war is absolutely unbelievable when we have students graduating colleges, 2 to 4 year colleges, with debts exceeding $30,000. That's freaking ridiculous, folks. All schools, whether it be your community colleges, whether it be your universities, whether it be any private institution, all schools should be free, period. All education should be free. Now somebody would say, well, how are they going to keep the lights on? Well, the states have their own way of dealing with things, and the states pay for certain things out of your pocket with your state taxes, don't they? Well, why can't they earmark 2% of your taxes to go to the college infrastructure, educational infrastructure in your state? Why can't they do that? Okay? Well, they can't do that because guess what? There's no profit in it. They can't give you free education if there's no profit in it. Have you seen the income of these universities and colleges? Or excuse me, these community colleges and these universities and private institutions? Have you seen the income? It's a freaking racket. Okay? I mean, it's... You go and you look at how much you can borrow. Go to your local community college. Start there and look at and go talk to the financial aid and go and see how much you can borrow and all this, that, and the other thing. I mean, look, as they go by the income, which I think is ridiculous, but look at how much you can borrow. Look at how much the yearly, tuition is, per semester or whatever it may be. And then ask yourself, wait a minute. Then look at the job market for the class, for the career you want to have, because you have to take the class to get into that career. Look at the job market. Look at the market just in that field of interest. You're not going to be able to pay that loan back at all. A lot of people say, well, I did. It took me 20 years, but I paid it off. Blah, blah, blah. And where are you at right now? Are you in the job that you went to school for? I did it. I got student loan. Guess what? I'm not in the job that I went to school for, not because I didn't want to be, but extenuating circumstances literally put me at a disadvantage. Why? I wasn't minority, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not, disabled, or I wasn't when I went to school. And all of the little things kept adding up. Plus, here's the big thing. Remember I said go to the market and find out, if you're going to have a job after you graduate? The market that I was in, I have an electronics background. That's what I got, okay? And I have computer and all this, and I can do that, and I've worked for electrical contractors and done all that. But here's the thing. I'm not in the field of my interest, of my career that I went to school for. Okay? I'm not. Not because I didn't want to. For many, many months and several years after that, I kept trying to get into the field, which is the electronics field. And guess what? Every place I went to, here in the biggest little city in the world, Reno, Nevada, and elsewhere in California, every place I went to you went to where? What school did you go to? What college did you go to? Oh, we don't take people from that school. We don't even consider them to be educated from that institution. What? So now I owe a loan over almost 30 years old that I can't pay. Not that I didn't try, but I don't believe, well, let's put it this way. Any student that graduates a college or a community college or university that is trying to get in a certain field, if they do not get into that field and cannot get into that field due to whatever, if the market shuts that field down, or there's no growth in that field, or that field is no longer viable for the community, then I would say in 5 years, that student loan should go away. Immediately go away. Well, then, interest rates go up and blah, 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 blah. No. Did you know that banks have insurance for bad loans? Did you know that? You didn't know that, did you? Yeah, check that one out. Yeah. I believe that every community college, every university should be absolutely, positively, 100% free. They do it in other countries, and they're not doing too bad, are they? Why do educated individuals, whether you're a psychologist, a doctor, an educator, whatever, engineer, why do you think they come over here? Why do you think those people in those colleges come over here to work? Why? Because the market is here, but those people are educated much better, and their graduation, their job from graduation rates are much higher. Okay? The careers in those countries are there for their graduates. Here, student loans, we can make a profit off of that. It's bull crap, folks. Absolute 100% bull crap. You should not have to go to the government to say, give me $30,000 and I want to go to school. Oh, now you have to pay that back. Guaranteed student loan, GSLs. Now you have to pay that back. Well, how much? Well, a $30,000 loan in 10 years, just in 10 years, can cost you up to $45,000. Because if you don't pay it, penalties, interest, all this, well, you can get to this and whatever. No. All education after high school should be absolutely 100% free. Why can't we do it? Other countries do it. But their taxes are really high and their unemployment rate is really high. You're looking at the wrong demographics, aren't you? Anyway, the show's almost over. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please ask. And even if you disagree with me, show me why. Free America Radio at USA.com. Free America Radio at USA.com. Go to the WayneSPierceShow.weebly.com site. Yes, the WayneSPierceShow.weebly.com. And check that site out. I have an alternative site. It's a backup site, if you will. It's AmericanLibertyRadio.wix. That's WIX.com/ALR network. That's AmericanLibertyRadio.wix.com/ALR network. Go check that out. And folks, it's always good to come to you. I want to hear from you. Please. I want to hear from you. I want to find out, other than looking at the Spreaker stats, how many people listen to this show. So email me. All right? FreeAmericaRadio at USA.com. FreeAmericaRadio at USA.com. Again, I'll hopefully have the views expressed live on today. That's at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. I hope you can make it because I'd like to hear from you. So, hey, Free America Radio at USA.com. Free America Radio at USA.com. You can go listen to the views expressed live at freeamericaradio.weebly.com. And folks, I'm out of here. Enjoy your Friday and enjoy your weekend. Talk to you later.